Hi, good morning, everyone. It is 9 a.m. and I'd like to get our Public Safety and Judicial Committee started. My name is Myrna Molina. It is Thursday, August 12th. If we can please have a roll call.
Davis.
Davis
Brown.
here.
Thank you. Brown.
Brown here.
Combs.
Combs here.
Leonard.
Leonard here.
Sanchez.
Here.
Shepro.
Shepro here.
Pirog. Molina.
Molina present remotely. Thank you, everyone. Okay, next item on the agenda is our approval of minutes. May I have a motion and a second to approve minutes from July 15th?
Shepro moves.
Leonard seconds.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Shepro and second by Mr. Leonard. Any questions or comments regarding our minutes from July? Okay, may I please have roll call?
Brown.
Yes.
Combs.
Yes.
Leonard.
Leonard, yes.
Sanchez. Shepro.
Shepro, yes.
Davis.
Davis, yes.
Molina.
Molina, yes. Okay, next item on our agenda is public comment. Do we have anyone signed up for public comment today or anyone in the audience or online that would like to provide comment? Okay, hearing and seeing none, we will move on. Our judiciary financial reports are on file and are attached for your review. And next item on our agenda would be our CaneCom. Ms. Guthrie, good morning. Sorry, I don't see you, but I hear you.
Good morning. Thank you. Our monthly reports are in the packet. I just want to take a minute to highlight some activity this week. As you can imagine from the storms, we were extremely busy. It's been a very busy Monday and Tuesday. Just to put that into perspective or statistics, in about 3 hours, we took about 350 phone calls. Our minimum staffing is about 3 to 4 telecommunicators, so we did have to page for additional staffing. With all the trees down, the wires down, that may be one call for service in terms of statistics. That may be one call for service that our subscribing agencies are responding to, but it may equate to, 10 to 15 phone calls for the incident, which is a huge load on our team. So they did an incredible job. Of those 164 calls for service, 26 of those were fire calls, which takes a lot of radio transmissions between 2 different channels. We had OEM out, helping with all the trees down, the wires down. So it was just an incredible workload and our team did an incredible job. We also hired a new telecommunicator. She started in July. She's going through the training process and she is now starting to take phone calls. We have just hired another telecommunicator who will start in August. So other than that, that is all I have this month. If anybody has any questions.
Great, thank you. Any questions from Ms. Guthrie? Okay, thank you so much for you and let your staff know we thank them for everything they do too. Okay, next item on our agenda is our Sheriff and Corrections. Sheriff Hain, good morning.
Thank you, Chair Molina. All of our financial reports are on file. Blair is pulling up a very brief PowerPoint that I have just to give an overview of activity over the last month on the sheriff's side of the office. I will start out by talking about Officer Ella French from Chicago Police Department, who was killed in the line of duty last week. I would ask that we all take just a brief moment of silence to recognize her service to the Chicagoland community. Thank you. What I truly hope is that this is part of the pendulum swing that stops a lot of the anti-police rhetoric and recognizes what our law enforcement officers do on a daily basis and the line that they walk when they leave their family every day. So public safety impact, we've talked a lot about pursuits and they're more than double in 2019 versus 2020. So a lot of these folks are gangs that will come out from the city or Rockford and commit vehicle burglaries and property crime here in Kane County. In response to that, last year, we supplied all of our patrol deputies with what are called stop sticks. It's a very safe device that when a vehicle is fleeing, one deputy, another one can set up just ahead of it. We have a great deal of what I call interstate crime here in Kane. So a lot of people will use those interstates to ingress and egress to commit crime and after they commit a crime. So our deputies will set up by the interstate, and this has proven to be a great tactic in deterring and capturing a lot of these folks. So this is just one arrest that we had it was about 2 weeks ago at about 2 a.m. This car was a stolen vehicle out of Rockton, Illinois, 4 teens out of Rockford inside the vehicle that had burglarized various vehicles throughout Campton Hills, Pingree Grove. They hit Elburn, Sugar Grove, and one of our deputies went to stop them. The chase was on, and we were able to deploy the stop sticks right before they got on I-90 to head back to Rockford. So, this and the tactical training that we've implemented at the sheriff's office, where every deputy, corrections officer, and court security officer has to go through 2 hours of de-escalation and stress-induced training every month, along with our emergency vehicle driving training that we implemented last year as well, are really paying off to curb a lot of the, again, that interstate crime and even local crime here in Kane County. And of course, got to talk about the weather. This is video that I took, Blair, if you want to play that. So I'm sitting on Route 64 here on the afternoon. There were plenty of reports about some houses that were damaged in the Maple Park area. So you can see that tree line. That was the first tornado that's kind of dissipating and going back up. Then you see a second big one form right along that tree line there, and that's where all the houses and outbuildings were damaged.
131153, callers advised to know what drugs he's on if he is. She goes with a group, he follows her and
Right there you
verbally
see it
harassed her.
come
She's not
together.
pregnant, doesn't want to give his name. I don't know if I can tell you guys get there, especially
It's very rain wrapped. There's some better photos of it, still photos from the
50 we got the same story last
just want to
time
share
we
with you
were
guys,
there 2
that's
days
where
ago.
I said maybe I should move from here.
Roger.
Put my window up. And I am right on top of it, so I am moving. So yes, like Michelle said, it was a very busy beginning of the week for us as far as public safety goes and cleaning up branches and down power lines. I do want to be very candid. Yesterday, Aurora swore in their brand new police chief and deputy chief. This is an incredible thing, in my opinion, for public safety here in Kane. I'm sure State's Attorney Mosser is excited about the future herself. Something that I've been trying to get started here, public safety wise, specifically in Aurora Township. This is our one anomaly where it's a very metro area. When you drive through the city of Aurora, you go from unincorporated to incorporated to unincorporated, but we never communicate on a daily basis with Aurora Police Department. We're not on the same radio frequency. Our StarCom project got us up to that level. Now we're working with Aurora to be able to patch our communications together. What I've been wanting to do for the last 2 years is actually insert deputies, if you know the metro model, like, for example, Las Vegas, Nevada, insert deputies into the Aurora Police Department, where they're working their shifts on a daily basis, communicating on the same platform with Aurora and attending all of their roll calls. This will allow them to now understand what exactly is going on throughout the city and the effects on the unincorporated areas and vice versa. We'll have a shooting in unincorporated Kane. The car will drive 2 blocks, enter incorporated Aurora, and drive right past an Aurora squad, and they won't even know about it. And vice versa. Yeah, and vice versa. It'll happen routinely. I believe this will have a dramatic impact on safety in the Aurora area if we're able to pull this off. So I just wanted to put this on your radar. These are conversations I need to formalize with the new police chief, and hopefully the obstacles have been removed and we can finally get to where we need to be specific to this township. My last slide here, you guys have heard us talk a lot about the electronic monitoring program, a lot about the Lighthouse program and everything we do in Recovery Pod here. Thanks to our great state's attorney and the relationship we have, we've been able to develop what we're calling the electronic monitoring return to work program. We also have various avenues for people to exit out of the jail through drug court as well. And I'll cite some of those names, but this is our most recent re-enterer from our Recovery Pod. His name is Porfirio. And Porfirio was a stellar performer in Recovery Pod for almost a year. We were able to get him a job, put an ankle bracelet on him, exit him back out to his family. Now he's working full-time, continuing counseling on the outside through Lighthouse Recovery and reunited with his kids. Folks, if this program didn't exist, Porfirio would be looking at minimum of 6 years, potentially 10 to 15 years. This is his first offense, nonviolent cocaine delivery charge. So when you look at the criminal justice system and treating it humanely and giving people a true opportunity, he's a prime example. And so is this man sitting in the room that I brought with me. This is Rick Swain. We call him our Lighthouse General. And you guys know I like to bring people up and into the room, so there's a little context to what we do. Rick was our first person to enter out on the return to work program. So I wanted to invite Rick up to say a little bit about it and all of his success over the last 6 months that he's been on the outside.
Hello. Okay. Hi. Good morning. I just want to, tell you how thankful I am and excited to have the opportunity to share what's going on with the sheriff, Jamie Mosser, Nate Latham. He runs the Lighthouse program. It's given me a great opportunity to get back to work. I've been provided with a job. I'm a master barber. They found me a job. I've been out now for almost 6 months, working hard every day, established a great clientele. I continue to go to the Lighthouse meetings several times a week, which is a great, strong support system that I think would really help people, because I've never seen anything like this, opportunity that's given to somebody when they're being released from incarceration. And I just want to, thank the sheriff and Jamie Mosser for giving me the opportunity to get back out here and provide for my family. And I just want to continue to, just lead by example. And I really appreciate it. And thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak to you guys. And, I just want to show you guys that this program is really a serious program and it really works. And, just going to lead by example. Thank you.
It's really important to point out that what Rick was facing, again, this is for all nonviolent people in our custody that we're trying to identify that deserve that second chance based on drug charges from the 1990s and an additional charge that he caught in 2017. Because 2018, you languished in our jail for about 2 years and finally got into the recovery program for about the last year and a half of it. If this program didn't exist based on our antiquated historic criminal justice laws, he would have been looking at life in prison. So this opportunity, again, thanks to State's Attorney Mosser, if he successfully completes this, which he obviously will based on his track record over the last 6 months, a few more months, that ankle bracelet disappears. She lowers the charges to a probationable offense. He's got a job, back with his family, still going to counseling. This is the method to improving police community relations and stop letting people just warehouse in custody. So Rick, thank you very much and great job on all you've done. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for sharing your story with us.
Madam Chair, this is Bill Leonard. Could I make a comment?
Absolutely, Mr. Leonard, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to point out, not only is this gentleman becoming a productive part of society, which I'm thrilled with, he's able to provide for his family. And it lessens the number of detainees we have in the King County Jail, which is important on a strictly financial standpoint. And I think the personal outweighs the financial, obviously, but from a financial standpoint, this ankle bracelet that he's wearing, I think costs about $10 a day. Less than $10 a day, thank you.
Costs you $3.94 a day.
$3.94 and
as opposed to $72 a day to keep them in.
So we're saving $68 a year and improving someone's life and their family's life. So I can't thank State's Attorney Mosser or Sheriff Payne enough for what they're doing. And it are these elected officials that have instituted this and are pushing it forward. So it benefits everyone. And just a little side note, it even helps our budget. So thank you very much.
Thank you. That concludes my presentation. Try to keep that brief. I just have one resolution to accept grant money for.
Question for the sheriff, Shepro.
Yes, sir.
Sheriff, how many, were there any injuries that occurred during those pursuits, either to your folks or to the public by the escapees or the pursuees?
In 2019, yes, there was a fatal accident where the offender went head on with another vehicle. The offender is the fatality. The other person made a full recovery. That's the only one I can point to where there was an injury.
And what, I don't know, could you give us just a quick overview of well, how would I put it? The policy behind pursuits. I know that that's undergone some changes in the past decade where there have been either reduced or there's been more training of people, of the officers as to how and when to do the pursuits after there seemed to be a rash of accidents and fatalities.
Yes, so it is strictly dependent on by our policy, environment, time of day, traffic conditions, closely monitored by a supervisor. The supervisor has to chime in the first 10 seconds of the pursuit that they're monitoring. From there, it has to be a felony offense that the person is being pursued for. If traffic conditions become inappropriate, environment becomes inappropriate, it is terminated regardless of felony offense. Outside of forcible felonies we will continue to pursue at most all costs.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Sheriff Payne, if you can go ahead and introduce your resolution, and I'll ask for a motion in a second to discuss and potentially approve.
Certainly. This is a motion for the Office of Emergency Management to accept grant funding to the sum of $14,813 from the Illinois Emergency Management Agency.
Leonard, so moves.
Sanchez seconds.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Leonard and a second by Mr. Sanchez. Any questions or comments regarding this resolution?
Madam Chair, just one comment. This is Bill Leonard. In
Mr.
reading
Leonard,
over
go
the
ahead.
resolution, I realized that this is in addition to the normal amount that the emergency management group would get. It's an additional 14,000. So it's great news for all of us.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, any further questions or comments? Okay, may I please have roll call?
Brown,
Yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Shepro,
Shepro, yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Molina.
Molina, yes. Okay, thank you.
Passes.
Okay, thank you, Sheriff Payne. Okay, next item on our agenda is our state's attorney. Good morning, Ms. Mosser.
Good morning. So no, our report is on file for the financials. I do not have a PowerPoint presentation. Had I known that I needed one to combat the sheriffs, I would have absolutely done that. So, but we are business as usual at the state's attorney's office. We have trials that are continuing to go on. We are authorizing more and more domestic violence cases and DUI cases, which really illustrates the need that we continue to have in regards to addiction issues and trying to get to the root of the criminal justice process. We have also initiated a program where we're contacting our other local state's attorney's offices to look at the programming that they have. We have seen that in each of our offices, they will have a program that works well here, a program that works well here, but we haven't had as much communication as we should have in regards to making recommendations to each other. And so that's what we've started to do, because the best way for us to operate this office is to be proactive in terms of the programming that we're creating. The more proactive we are, the more likely we are to get out into the community and help prevent crime from happening as much as possible. So in the next few months, you're going to hear a few reports from us about the different programming ideas, how we can bring this into the office, because the idea obviously is the less cases that we have go through the court system, it means we're able to focus on the crimes that we need to focus on, and we can really focus on the addiction issues, the mental health issues, the lack of resources, and diverting them from our criminal justice system. So that is the short report that I have today.
Madam
Thank
Chair, before we move forward on the resolution, may I make a comment, please? This is Bill Leonard.
Sure, Mr. Leonard.
And I promise you, this will be the last time I make a comment in this meeting. I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank State's Attorney Mosser and also Mr. Sanchez for their help on the Riverboat Grant funding program that we have. State's Attorney Mosser was gracious enough to give up $110,000 of money that would have been awarded to her department for additional needs in order to make sure that we could maximize an opportunity through the federal government under the Farmland Preservation Act, in which they match every dollar we give to them through the Riverboat Grant. That amounted to another $110,000 she gave up. And the county got back for farmland preservation, not only that 110, but a matching 110,000. So it was $220,000 that benefits Kane County. And in my 7 years on the board, this is the first time I've ever seen someone on a grant, and I'm not talking about budgets because I know Sheriff Hayne has moved money, but this is the first time I've ever seen under a grant situation an award being given to another area in order to help the county out as a whole. So I want to thank State's Attorney Mosser and also Mr. Sanchez for agreeing to that, as he is the chair of the American Rescue Plan. And he has assured us that we will look very seriously at trying to replace that money. So thank you both very much.
Here, here.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Leonard, for mentioning that. Yes, we have a wonderful team of people here, and I think we're in position to be able to support everybody. Any further questions or thoughts regarding Mrs. Mazur's report?
Madam Chairman, this is Deborah Allen.
Yes, Ms. Allen, go ahead.
Thanks so much. I just wanted to add my compliments and thanks to Mr. Leonard towards Ms. Mosser and towards the sheriff. It seems almost as if the planets have aligned, and instead of there being silos of control and an empire building, it seems as if the elected officers and the county board are looking for ways to make things better for our neighbors by working together. And it helps to have some extra money come in. It helps to have some CARES money and some ARPA money come in that we can distribute to service the problems that are going on. But maybe this is just good practice, and we would be able to do this for years into the future, where we look to what each other's needs are and see how we can maximize our efforts and our resources for the good of our community. Thanks again, Ms. Mosser. Thanks again, Mr. Sheriff Hayne. Thanks again to the board members and for letting me speak, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Allen. Okay, any other comments or questions?
Kepro, I think we should give the state's attorney a free PowerPoint portion on the next agenda as part of our thanks for her work.
Limited to 5 minutes.
I was hoping for some video next time, but okay, I guess she gets a pass.
Yes, right. Do home movies.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, next item on our agenda is our public defender. Ms. Conant, good morning. Thank you for being here.
Good morning. Thank you. Our report is on file. I just wanted to add a couple of things to that. As of our numbers as of August 11th, we have opened 8,100 cases in our office. We've actually closed 9,500. That is a little bit unprecedented. We don't usually close more than we open. I think that's a little bit to do with the backlog from COVID, as well as the cooperation with the state's attorney's office and with the judges in helping to get these cases moved into disposition, either through trials or plea negotiations. One other kind of unique thing that happened 2 weeks ago in our DUI misdemeanor courtroom, in an effort to get some cases closed there that have been languishing because of COVID, they did what they entitled a Pleapalooza. And 2 weeks ago in the afternoon, the local prosecutors, the judge, and the 2 attorneys from our office, they closed 22 cases in one afternoon. So that was 22 pleas that they were able to put in that for clients that their cases have been open for well over a year now because of COVID. So it was a lot of hard work on all of those parties, especially the attorneys in our office who had to prepare all of the DocuSign documents because all of these pleas were done virtually as well. So it was a lot of hard work. Everyone was very pleased with the outcome of it, and then they are hoping to do it again to continue to whittle away at that backlog. And that is all that I have for today.
Thank you. Any comments or questions regarding our public defender's report?
Madam Chairman, Allen again?
Miss Allen, I think you might have some noise in your background, but go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'll see if I can fix that. I just wondered if our public defender could repeat those statistics.
Sure. We have opened 8,100 cases and we have closed, I'm sorry, it's a little bit over 8,100 and we have closed a little over 9,500.
Congratulations, that's amazing.
Thank you. It's a lot of hard work from the people in our office.
Shepro, question. How many cases do you have open at any given time?
So I don't have the exact number for that. That is what we have opened for this year. I could get you those numbers, but I don't have those numbers off the top of my head.
I mean, I'm not looking for an exact number, just a general idea.
It's around about between 8,000 to 9,000.
So most of the cases are opened and closed within a 12-month period.
Yes, most of them. The more serious ones are murder cases, armed robberies, things like that. Those do tend to take a little bit longer. The sex cases take a little bit longer. As Judge Hall has indicated at past meetings and and the sheriff has mentioned, we are trying to move through the jail clients to try to get them out of there within a year's time. So that has been something that we have all been working on this year with the cooperation of the state's attorney's office as well.
And what is your current or general status as far as the number of assistant public defenders? Are there a lot of vacancies at this point?
No, we actually are currently full staff. Within the last month, we had 2 new hires. We have another new one that is coming in October. So we will be full. We are fully staffed.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. That's good news. Any other comments or questions? Okay, so we will move on to our judiciary and courts. I think I see Mr. Naughton.
Yes, good morning. Judge Hall
Morning.
sends his regrets. He had a previous engagement this morning. Just kind of bring you up to date. Last Thursday, we reinitiated the mask mandate in all 6 of the court locations throughout the county. And just kind of as an aside note, every time we bring in people for jury duty, we query them as to their reactions of having to come in, things of that nature. And what we're finding out recently are people are tired and they're tired of the mask. They will do it. What is interesting to us is prior to COVID, about when we would summon 100 people to report for jury duty, you'd get about 85% of those people coming in. This year so far, we've averaged over 96%, which has kind of thrown us for a little bit of a loop. You expect 60, I get 70. But those people want to get back to normal just as fast as they can. They share the same feelings that we all have. But we're very, very pleased that the people in Kane County feel that civic responsibility and they are willing to show up when they're needed. And that's all I really have today. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. That's wonderful news. I think we all feel the same way. I don't see a lot of masks in the audience there, but I think we're all on the same page. We want to get this over and done with. Any questions or comments regarding the report? Okay, hearing and seeing none, we will move on to our Court Services Administration. Ms. Ost, good morning.
Good morning. I just wanted to highlight a couple of things that I sent out our annual report, I think in the last week or 2 weeks or so. I know that it's a lot of statistics. I'm a nerdy person, so I'm heavy on statistics. But I wanted to point out that not only is it chock full of statistics, but to go through some of the ideas in here with you. So one of the things that we talk about a lot in probation and court services is this idea of risk. And I know you hear us talk about that a lot. And so I just want to clarify, when we talk about risk, it's an actuarial table, just like what insurance companies use, right? So they measure your risk of new traffic offenses. In the criminal world, risk means you're propensity, your risk of committing a new offense. It could be anything from an ordinance violation all the way up to murder. And so, for example, on page 26 of the adult stats, you can see that about 53% of our offenders are low risk. And so what that means is that they've got, statistically speaking, of those 53% of the people, about 10 to 15% of them are going to commit a new crime. So medium risk means anything from like 15 to 35, 40% will commit a new crime. And high risk means basically 50% and above. So it's important to note that even though we talk about high risk and we treat those people as high risk, right? We sit on them, we monitor them, we might do a ton of urinalysis on them and ton of curfew checks. There's still about 50% of them are not going to reoffend. That's the glass half full kind of perspective on it. And so as you're reading these reports, every single area, every single group of clients, we talk about risk. And one of our success stories, and Emily Saylor, one of my directors, talked about it when she presented on drug courts a few months ago, was that we can visually see with the right interventions that people move from high risk, and over time, after about 12 to 18 months, they start sliding down into medium risk. And then eventually they get to low medium. And what we attribute that to is we identify our high risk and we use our probation fees to get these people treatment. One of the things you can see right after the section on adults, we talk about drug testing and what people are testing positive for. So about 15 to 20% of the people will test positive in any given year, about 20% of our urinalysis that we do. And of those, 37% are positive for THC. Now, THC is legal now, so we're not necessarily filing violations with the court unless they're specifically ordered not to do it. But what we are saying to them is, I'm wondering if there's something going on with you or in your life that's driving you to use these substances. And we start talking with them about, are these substances getting in the way of your personal relationships, of your job satisfaction, of your life? And we start digging, and almost always we find out there's some untreated underlying mental health need that they're trying to self-medicate for, or there's an interpersonal relationship that's gone south. And so we work really hard to get those people into treatment if that's what they need. And it's about 50% of them end up going through some form of treatment, family therapy, drug treatment, something like that. And so that's exactly the kind of interventions that we focus on to try to decrease risk over time. And indeed, if I were to pull out these annual reports, you would see that over time, the overall risk profile of the people on probation has decreased. So that's my little nerdy girl talk for the morning. It's a very good report. It is very statistical heavy. As I was going through it, I realized that I missed some key elements such as connecting drug use with treatment. So if you read it and it's confusing to you, or there'd be a different way that you would like us to present that information or tie it all together, please let me know, and I'm more than happy to do that going forward. This is year 2 of our kind of revised way of doing our reports. Members may remember that it was a few years ago in 2015, we went live with our new CMS. And so it's taken us this long to get really good data in there to be able to pull it out in a meaningful way. And I'm very proud of that. So like I said in my email to you, like this is very much a in progress kind of endeavor. I don't have any resolutions in front of you today. My juvenile detention report is on file, and I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Question, Shepro?
Thank you, Ms. Hast. Mr. Shepard, go ahead.
I sort of understand what an actuary does when they do that for insurance. Who are your actuaries? What do they do to develop those tables?
That is a great question. So we, for adults, use it's something called the ARA, Adult Risk Assessment. It was actually developed out of the University of Cincinnati, led by team Dr. Latessa. And he's a well-known and well-respected criminologist around the country. So our regulatory oversight is done by the Administrative Office of Illinois Courts. And so it's actually the AOIC that has contracted out with the University of Cincinnati to use this instrument. They did a test pilot across several sample populations across the state, actually looked at future or reoffending as it happened. They look at 9 different domains. They focus in on the ones that have been linked to actual recidivating propensity. And it's been validated here in Kane County. And so that's the one that we're using.
Is there like a error rate or, how many?
Yes, exactly. So when I talk about high risk being about a 50%, so you're right, it's about a 50% error rate in the high risk area. If you're low risk, it's a 10% likelihood that you'll reoffend. So the error rate is far less. So they break it out by risk, by category, but you're right, there is an error rate. And so that was my caveat about the glass being half full. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments? Okay, thank you, Mrs. Ost. Okay, next item on our agenda is our circuit clerk, Ms. Barrero. Good morning.
Thank you. Can you hear me? I don't know if this, can everybody hear me?
Yeah, it's on.
It's working. Now, I guess I just needed to tap it. Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to, well, my report is on file. Everybody can take a look at that. I just wanted everyone to know that our orders of protection are up this year. They're at 464 currently, year to date. And we've had
Mic, please. Microphone, please.
I have to say that never in my life has anybody said that I need to speak louder. So that is a first. I don't know if everybody heard me, but my report is on file, and I wanted to let everyone know that our orders of protection are at 464 for year to date. I don't actually have last year's. I was looking through my records to see where we were at last year, because it seems like a lot, but state's attorney can correct me on that if I'm wrong. Total calls for 1 month was at 6480. That's a lot of phone calls. So we're working on a new phone system with IT, and that has not been implemented yet, but everybody's supposed to be meeting on that shortly and discussing it. Our fines and fees have been waived and are down significantly in our special funds due to hardship with COVID. A lot of circumstances have come into play, and therefore collecting revenue for our special funds is considerably down 10 to 15%. And of course, that's just a domino effect of COVID. And actually, that's all I have. Our civil cases are still low compared to criminal cases for July. We are still waiting for the tsunami of evictions that will be coming in. We do not have those yet. I believe they have till September 1st, but we're hoping to get some filings in, if anybody's out there and is listening, prior to September 1st, so we don't get bombarded with a tsunami on September 1st. But that's about it. Any questions?
Thank you. Any questions for our circuit clerk? Okay, thank you. Okay, next item on our agenda is our Merit Commission. Do we have anybody from the Merit Commission today? Okay, their report is on file. Okay, and next item on our agenda is our coroner.
Yes.
Mr. Russell, good morning.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, reports on file. Do not have anything additional for this month, but hope to have the, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, go ahead.
Hope to have our annual report done next couple weeks, and so that you can see there'll be some interesting graphs and whatnot that you'll have access to seeing, and I think it'll explain a lot. So yeah, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments regarding our coroner's monthly report? Okay. Okay, next item on our agenda. Well, we don't have any old business and no new business to discuss. So I'll make I'll ask for consensus to place our written reports on file. Anybody opposed? Okay,
Motion to adjourn. Shepro?
You have a
and
second?
no need for executive session. I have a motion and a second to adjourn. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay,
Have a great day, everyone.